Hey, my name is Laura Ferry, and welcome to the My Inner Struggle podcast. I am in my mobile office today. Quite frankly, this is life right now. So I was struggling with where to record and when I was going to do that and all of the things. And this morning I had a networking meeting and I have all these remnants of donations that I'm dropping off to various local charities this morning. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do this here because I don't have time to run back home and get this done. So this is the first time that I'm ever doing this and everything's a little unpredictable, but this is life, right? This is being a mom. This is getting everything done. And right now we're, a few weeks away from Christmas. So as we're going through our day, we have a million things on our mind and we're trying to accomplish a lot of things. And I want you to know that you're not alone, essentially. Um, I'm overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed with the amount of things that I am taking on myself and willingly doing so every single day. But as moms, we do that. And sometimes it can get a little crazy. And um, I just want you to know that you're not alone. I'm overwhelmed with thinking about all of the things that we have to do on a normal basis, let alone holiday, and then adding business and clients on top of that and coming up with new ways to do different things and making connections. And then, ultimately, it is a business. So I do need to make money at that. So where does that come into play and how do we find clients and things like that? So if you're a mom, chances are you've experienced these moments when you feel like there's just like too much on your plate, taking care of the kids and managing a household. If you're like me, trying to pursue your own personal professional goals, it can be a lot. So this past weekend, I think I had 2 or 3 events that I was hosting or co-hosting with some other organizations. And on Friday night, we did a holiday decor swap at Angry Eric's Brewery in Hampton, New Jersey, which was really cool and really neat. And I'm so glad that they let us use their place to come and meet, and people brought their holiday decor that they no longer wanted, that kept staying in a box year after year. And we were able to swap that with each other. So it avoided going into a landfill. And now anything that was left is being donated to a few little local charities. I just handed off some to Ginny's house to decorate their office for their holiday party for their the Children's Advocacy Center. They have a Christmas party for the children that are there, so they'll be able to use some of that, and then also donating the rest of the stuff to Benny's Bodega so people throughout the county can benefit from having that, being able to get some stuff without having to spend any money on it and bring a little cheer around. And it's just been kind of crazy. And quite frankly, when you're taking on too much, and lacking a focus in any one direction, all of those things can kind of fall off, or we're not completing them as well. So I've been working on clearing some of the chaos and some of the to-dos on my list. And hopefully over the next couple months, that'll continue to happen and I can focus more in just a few directions rather than 20 different directions. I do have some more limits or deadlines that I've put on myself just to get myself closer to the finish line. I'm finishing my first book, and to be perfectly honest, I haven't really, until like this last week, I hadn't really touched it in a few months. And I truly believe it was on purpose because the ending part of it was actually happening at that time. And going beyond personal growth levels that I've ever experienced thus far in my life. And it's really interesting observing myself in this process, and then also, blogging about it. If you've read the blog at myinnerstruggle.com, because that's how it all started. It's just been an interesting process, and it's really fucking cool. And I hope that it's everything that I want it to be. And I hope that everyone enjoys it as much as I have, um, well, I've been writing it. But what I did to get myself kind of motivated was I committed to a book launch. And that book launch slash Valentine's Day party will be February 7th. So I sat down on Friday morning while I was doing my morning routine and kind of said, okay, now let's get our shit together because we have to count backwards. When do I need to have this done by? And turns out it's less than 2 weeks away. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing in my free time. I am writing. And it took me a couple days to kind of sit down and, okay, we have to focus. But having a deadline and a goal really helps drive your mission forward. So that's super important. So, now I have that, and now I know what I need to accomplish. So every day that I would have on my list, on my to-do list, write for an hour or write 1,000 words or whatever it is, um, to move me closer to my goal. Now that I've started yesterday morning, I was focusing on that a little bit during my morning routine. I use that as my writing time, and I think I spent a good probably hour and a half to 2 hours, and I was able to get through 50 pages and add a couple thousand words to my end result. And I'm really excited about that. And then I was able to connect with a great client of mine to sort of review as I'm going through just to make sure my flow makes sense. Because when you're writing something, it's in your head. So you're the one writing it, obviously, but your flow may not make sense to someone outside the situation that's never read it before. So I encourage you to sort of take your goal and break it out into smaller chunks so that you can accomplish it as a mom, as a business owner, in anything. Even if we're going through the kids' clothes at the change of a season, it seems like this insurmountable task that is going to take a whole day to get to. But if we break it out into smaller, bite-sized chunks, we can get that done. Um, so feeling overwhelmed, especially at this time of year, I'm no stranger to, without a doubt. Just the pressures, there's financial pressures, there's pressures, that, you scroll through Facebook and you see the perfect, um, scenario with the elf at night and and all these elaborate things. And don't compare yourself to someone that isn't sitting in your shoes. So don't don't put that on yourself. Your kids, Melissa and I talked about it in the last episode. Your kids want time with you. They don't need anything fancy. So if you make that a precedent in your life, that's what you'll come out with. They don't care. I mean, sure, it's fun, but we can dumb it down. I mean, the funniest time um, I think one of the most proud ones that I ever did with the elf was when I stuck it in the silverware drawer because I didn't, and I probably was in the morning as they were going to walk down the stairs because I forgot to move the damn elf, and I stuck it in the silverware drawer, and it took them a good while to find it until they were like getting their spoon for their cereal, and they're like, oh my gosh, can you see like where Sprinkles is? That is so funny. And so now I do that like once every year is I just stick it in the silverware drawer because it's funny and they think it's hilarious because they didn't expect it. Although they should be expecting it by now, but they're not. Anyway, so the emotional and physical demands of caring for your children and the lack of time for yourself really can have a big bearing on the way that you feel. So one of the things that I'm a big proponent on and I always talk about is my morning routine. And honestly, I don't know where I would be right now without my morning routine because it's like my home base. It's the only consistent thing that I have right now in my life because I'm constantly going and moving and trying to get all of the things done. And I need to get better acknowledging how much I'm trying to accomplish at once and how much I actually am accomplishing. And it feels good when I hear that from other moms that have businesses or clients, just seeing the amount of content that comes out or reading something that I wrote and they're like, wow, like I admire you. And that makes me feel good because I don't necessarily take enough time to do that myself, but I'm going to because fuck, I am doing a lot and I am handling probably more than my fair share right now, but I'm building something and it's really important and I have goals and I want to get there. Mom guilt is one of those things. I don't think there's enough things that I can say to you to make that ever go away. I don't think it will go away. I'm just going to encourage you to give yourself grace. Mom guilt over a lot of things, right? Where this morning I had an early networking meeting. I had to leave the house. Really, I probably should have left at like 6:45. But I didn't and couldn't. I had to get my youngest out of bed and drop her off at her dad's house so they could put her on the bus so that I could get across the county to this meeting. And she was pissed at me, let me tell you. She wouldn't look at me. She's getting out of the car next to me, and I said, I love you. I hope you have a great day. I'm so excited for you. They're doing this like holiday shop thing at her school, so she's going to go after school for that and buy her Christmas presents. And she just kind of looked at me. Actually, she didn't look at me. She didn't make eye contact. She was like this and raised her eyebrows and like looked away. And I said, I love you so much. And she slammed the door and walked away. And I left there and I was like, okay. I took a deep breath and I'm like, she'll appreciate this when she's older. She won't appreciate it now. She's 9. She just wants to sleep later. She doesn't really give a shit that her mom's trying to accomplish goals right now. And I'm going to give myself some grace for that. You know what? She had to get up a little bit earlier. And actually, she really didn't. That's why I was late, get up any earlier. So, regardless of anything, I'm not going to let that take me down. I'm not going to let that affect me. And that's easier said than done sometimes. In this case, I'm okay with it because you know what? She had to get up and get dressed at her dad's house and then get on the bus. Okay, I'll take that. Whatever. If that's the worst thing that could happen today, then I think that it was a win for that. So as moms, we often feel like we have to be everything for everyone. And I know that I'm not alone when I say that. We do, we do. I mean, we were just sitting at the table at the networking meeting this morning, and Michaela has been somebody that I met that owns a store in Sparta, New Jersey. It's called Simple Bare Necessities, and you know what? She's doing this now, and she's been in this. I think I want to say for 3 or 5 years, something like that. She has 2 little kids. She has an 8-month-old and I think a 2.5 or 3-year-old. And holy shit, I wasn't doing this then. And kudos to her because she's fucking amazing. And she's always got a smile on her face. And she's always pleasant and encouraging. And I love building this group of supportive women around me. Like she's been great and I'm proud of her for what she's accomplishing. And that's pretty fucking awesome. But that is a prime example, and I hope to get her on the podcast soon, of a mom doing it all. Her kids are not school age yet, but she's balancing things. And I can remember when my kids were her age and dealing with that. They were about the same span apart, my 2 older children, and trying to, I was doing the baking thing. I tried, I was working part-time remotely. I was doing all of these things, but she owns like a business and a store and she's doing it and she has employees and she's doing marketing and social media and creating products, making them and ordering and all of that stuff. And it's crazy. And it's okay to feel overwhelmed sometimes. Just acknowledge that. It's perfectly fine. There are like a big group of moms here to meet you with that. So again, like I know I talk about this, but the Self-Love Club really is meant for that. A place where we can all collaborate together and support each other and gain confidence through community. And it's such an amazing space, and I can't say it enough. And I wish that more people would give themselves recognition for balancing so much. We make jokes about like, oh yeah, failed at this one or did this or whatever. When you make a joke like that, there's always a little bit of truth to it. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some credit because you deserve it and you're doing a lot. Um, I think that what could help me, actually, what did help me when I was prioritizing everything on Friday, when I was trying to go through what I needed to accomplish to get this book done, to record the podcast, to get the blog written every week, and then let alone my coaching clients, and then the Self Love Club, which is our group coaching offering, and then my work for business clients. Um, Name your top three priorities. I mean, I did this workshop long ago. I've done these several times in business and how to accomplish, and you can apply the same rules to home. Running your home is no different than running a business, honestly. You're taking inventory, you're doing all of these things and balancing and trying to stay one step ahead of everyone else. You're a mom. You're basically the glue that holds everything together. And very often in business, prior to doing my own business, I was the glue kind of holding it together. So when we have all of these things, tasks on our list or whatever, let's take it down to three, three top priorities, like for the week or for the month or whatever it is, until we get some of those things off our plate. So we'll hyper focus on those three items to guide those forward, and then let the other things go or keep them at a manageable level until we can dive back into those. So I encourage you to name your top three priorities and delegate everything that you can in any way, shape, or form. I definitely rely on my kids like for some help. And my oldest daughter is away at college right now, and she was probably my most helpful around the house. She knew that I was busy and that I needed an extra hand. It's just me. I don't have a partner to rely on for, um, you know, anything. But as little as, like it's Monday night, finishing work all day, got an hour and a half by the time I get home to leave to take this one to the doctor. That takes an hour. Then you get back and then you have to make dinner and clean the kitchen and prep for the next day. And before you know it, the day is over. So um, she would often, like she'd call me, if she knew I was like running around or whatever. And do you want me to start dinner? I can boil some water or I can empty the dishwasher. So fucking helpful. And not that my other two children are not helpful, but they don't think of it the way she did. Um, so I will ask them to do things and delegate whatever I can. So, maybe I don't need to be the one to fill the dog's water, every couple hours or whatever. We have community water bowl, two cats, a dog. And I think it has to be filled like a couple times a day. And no one will drink out of any other water bowl in the house. It always has to be that communal water bowl. So that's where we're at. But if I can say, hey, Evelyn, can you fill the water? Or can you empty the dishwasher? That's been her new task lately. So delegating whatever I can to help myself get further. And she'll kind of grunt and moan about it, I'll have to say, because she's like, oh, I wanted to talk to my friends. And I was like, well, you can FaceTime your friends while you're emptying the dishwasher. I don't mind. But if you empty the dishwasher, that lets me make dinner and put everything right into the dishwasher. And then I don't have to wait on anything. And that keeps mommy moving. And as we work as a team. And that's what we've been doing for the last 5 years. So no matter no matter what you've got going on, there's definitely something that you can delegate. Just think about it differently. Step outside the situation, write it down, and then step into it as an observer and see like what you can accomplish by delegating it out to somebody else. Another tip as a mom, an actionable tip, I'll call it, since the slogan for my podcast is "Are you living in action?" Because I believe, and in my book you'll see as you go through, every issue that we have or whatever, what is the actionable step that we can take to make it different? So having flexibility as a mom and acknowledging the fact that things don't go to according to plan, probably most of the time, is really important. I'm really fucking hot right now. Let's like turn this down. Oh, no wonder it's like 85 degrees. Instead of focusing on perfection, focus on your progress and know that you can create a plan, but you have to be flexible in your approach to getting the task or whatever it is done. I have been, if you've been listening for a while, I've been talking about the things that I've been trying to accomplish in my house to sort of streamline and get things decluttered. I've been doing it for years, ever since my ex-husband moved out. But, there's a whole nother layer. Now I have a 9-year-old. I don't need all of these toys. So I think we started this in the summertime, and I started like cleaning out the shit and just giving everything that I could away, tossing the broken stuff and moving on with things. And that's been a really great process. And do I kind of put too much on myself at once? Sometimes, yes. But I was able to sort of, and I think about it as a circle, although you're looking at it backwards, it's like this, as a circle, as I was like cleaning out the things on my basement and then hitting each floor of my house and making it all out to the garage. And I have this 2-car garage that really has so much more potential than it currently is occupying. I don't know what word I want to use. That it's really a good spot for everything to land, sort through, and get rid of and send it on its way. So that has been a project that I've been working on for a few months, and each week I get like a little bit closer. And it was really nice on Sunday. I spent the day in the garage, just kind of uh, moving the stuff out and sorting it, putting it in boxes to donate and stuff like that. And then a bunch of broken stuff or stuff that was like really not usable anymore went to the street and, posted on various like Facebook groups and stuff like for free. And, I don't remember where I was even going with this. Oh, the whole goal was to like get this stuff like cleaned out, and I had a plan, but that plan went out the window like 3 months ago. But I had to remain flexible in my approach to get to the end goal and know that, things will change and it's meant to be the way it's supposed to be. But instead of focusing on perfection, focus on the progress. So, the next step, the next actionable step, I would say, is breaking the tasks into smaller, manageable bites, which I touched on before. You have this huge to-do list, which I do. I'm drowning in tasks. I think between personal and my business, the the I think I have like 89 tasks that are on there. Some are reoccurring weekly, like writing the blog or recording the podcast, researching things, creating curriculum for the self-love club, um, creating the mantras, like all of that kind of stuff. Break them down into tasks. And then when you're doing one thing, splitting your time among those things. In my personal life, I like to do that as well. So a silly thing, maybe it's not silly, and maybe it's not silly, is prepping dinner. I don't like eating the same thing all the time, and the kids really don't either. We don't mind leftovers, but we don't want to eat the same thing like all week. But if I'm making something, say Sunday night for dinner Sunday night, I'll kind of have in mind what else I'm doing so that you're doing all of that prep work at the same time, for later in the week. So that helps me save time during the week when it gets like kind of crazy and stressful. So if you can do anything to sort of multitask your time to move forward, that'll help you down the road. And that actually leads into the podcast that I wanted to do this week about helping your future self, or focusing, actually, how did I put it? Like helping your future self, your future focus. I did a podcast with Eduardo months ago, about, your future self and focusing on what you can do today to help yourself tomorrow. And ever since then, actually, maybe it wasn't immediately, but this whole morning routine and all of that all ties together, because once you're like more together and you create these habits, these daily habits that help you throughout your day, it really makes a huge difference. So, getting your coffee ready the night before seems like kind of, what's the big deal? I walk downstairs and I make my coffee in the morning. How is that saving me any time? But I've created this evening routine where I do make sure the dishes are done or the dishwasher's running or whatever is happening with that. And I prep my coffee the night before, because in the morning, then all I have to do is walk downstairs, press the button, and I'm good to go. That's brewing while I'm doing my morning routine. And by the time the coffee's done, I'm reading with a cup of coffee. How fucking cool is that? If I had said to Laura 10 years ago, this is what it's going to look like, I kind of would have been like, well, that's fucking cool. How do I get there? But here I am. And so helping yourself plan ahead really makes a big difference too, especially with the meal prep, like with the kids, or even if it's just like you're cooking chicken, cook a bunch of chicken, and you can use that chicken like all throughout the week, and then you're not doing it like every day, the same fucking thing over and over again, if that works for your family. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Um, Time blocking myself really has helped me increase my production too, and getting some of these things that I'm overwhelmed with like out. Um, for instance, while I'm going to be writing my book, I need to devote a good 2 hours a day to writing to finish that in order to get to my goal. And now I'm committed to that. So when we make this goal, you have to have something that is manageable, right? We can't just, I can't remember what year it was. I want to say it may have been 2012 or 2013. I had started running, actually, maybe it was 2014 that I did my first half marathon. In 2012, I think that's when I had started running. Um, I think that makes sense because my son was probably like 4 around there. So I started running in 2012 around there. And I started doing some 5Ks, and I was doing that for like a while. And on my health journey, doing really well. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to run a half marathon. I want to do it. So I signed up for it, and then I worked backwards and I did train, and I definitely was not as diligent as I should have been, but I did it and it was fucking awesome. So we're not going to wake up today and go, I'm going to run a half marathon tomorrow when we've been sitting on the couch for the last, 10 years. You have to set a goal and then work backwards to get yourself to there, and build it up, if that analogy helps you better. Um, when you have this goal or the things that you're trying to accomplish, connect your why to it, and it'll give you a more purposeful attachment to whatever the goal is. So my book is really important to me because I'm sharing my story, and I know that other people will resonate with it, and it'll help them feel less alone. And that is the goal. And I'm happy to share it and put myself out there, because I know in my heart that someone else feels the same way, and it'll help them too. So when life feels overwhelming, and it's easy to forget why you started this in the first place. So sometimes, if I think about like my blog like that, there are sometimes when it felt like such a hassle to stop and write. And then other times it felt like I couldn't stop writing because the inspiration was pouring out of me. You have to stop and remember why you're doing this. And if there's no good reason why you're doing something, maybe it's time to reassess what you're doing. So I hope this was helpful. I don't even know how long I've been going. Um, Again, mom doing all the things. I'm here for you. I see you. I hear you. And you're not alone. So thank you so much for watching and listening and supporting me. I talk to so many members of the community that say they get really great information from listening to this and watching it. They feel inspired and encouraged to keep doing the same, or set new goals, or just take a baby step in the right direction. So thank you. I really, really appreciate it, because I wouldn't be anywhere without the support of the community. So that's really cool. Please check out the blog, How It All Started, at myinnerstruggle.com. If you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, please hit subscribe, and like, and share it with a friend if you think that they could benefit from that. Definitely check out the Self Love Club on lauraferry.com, and sign up so that you can be a part of a supportive community for women. And follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And I think that's all I have for today. I am thinking of you and sending you love, and I will see you soon.